Roppstar gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Welcome back to the channel. It's a different feeling here at the Roppstar Report after this past Sunday's absolute blowout. We absolutely we did belt to ass to this damn Falcons team. Belt to ass is what this Falcons team got. That's what they got. They got absolutely an absolute beatdown. And then deservingly so. Deservingly so, they got an absolute beatdown. Belt to ass, ladies and gentlemen. Belt to ass. And they deserved it because these Falcons fans were on their high horse. They were talking about how Penix is going to be the next big thing. And I got a video coming out later about why the Falcons should probably, if they want to contend this year, they might want to think about switching back to Kirk Cousins. So, yeah. And there was an interesting, it's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. This game's interesting. I'm going to say this though. I got something to say at the end because, yeah, it's one game. You know, we're 1-2. I think we're now second in the division now. I could be wrong. I think we are second in the division now. But man, what a feeling right now. It's like the difference in this game compared to other games, man, is this was just totally different. This was totally different, right? Like because it's like it finally clicked with this team. It like finally happened. Like after 2 weeks, we played like a team that still was stuck in preseason mode. And I think that's why I kept saying, like, guys, this is what I keep talking about with this whole preseason, right? This is what I keep talking about, like why preseason was so important. And I think Dave Canales might have learned that because after this 2 games, this is what I was expecting from this team. Now, offensively, I'm going to dive more into that. I felt like we could have been better offensively, but I did like what I saw in this game offensively more than week 1. And I think we kind of we found some rhythm in the Arizona game, right? Which didn't show it in this game. But we actually had a run game, though. And even though Bryce didn't do too much, which I'm going to talk more about his performance, but it's not the way that it's just the way that we won, right? We reminded the NFL that we still know how to play football and that we didn't just win. Like we literally belt to ass to these Atlanta Falcons. Like we handed out an absolute beatdown, 30-0 beatdown. Like it was a lopsided game. Again, this wasn't just a win, man. It was a statement. It was one to those Atlanta Falcons that they're still going to be trying to scrub from that game tape for a long, long time, man. And, we just flat out bullied them. Like, no nail-biting fourth quarter meltdowns, no almost, no excuses. It was just pure domination in Bank of America Stadium. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The Falcons look pathetic. Meanwhile, while we look like an actual NFL team for the first time this season, right? And this is our first shutout since the 2020 season. Since the 2020. It's just wild, man. It's just wild. Can't wait until the NFC South Roundtable tomorrow night. Shout out to Eric. Yeah, make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. EST, NFC South Roundtable. Be there. All right. We're going to need all the support, man, because over there, we got a lot of trash talkers, and I know those Atlanta fans are still going to be delusional as they always are. Appreciate you, Eric. What's up? Anthony, Zach, what's good? Zach, what is that picture of? What is that? What is that? People are, sorry. Popple's rookie. 0 points allowed. Am I in the Twilight Zone? No, you're not in the Twilight Zone, but you definitely see it. You definitely saw it. That's for sure. shout out to you for becoming a 6-month member. I greatly appreciate that. That goes a long way, more than you realize. I keep telling everybody that it does. I don't expect you guys to become members, but it does help out the channel. So shout out to you. I appreciate you. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. We'll call you PR for short. How about that? Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you. Great win. Let's get another. Absolutely, Loco. Love your dog in that picture, by the way. I like his eyes. He's cute. He or she's cute. What's up, Amazing K? Appreciate you. Marcos Cash, what's good? Rock Jones, what's good? Clay, proud of this team this week, especially for beating the Falcons. Absolutely. Eric, what's good? Punch out fumble to seal the deal was amazing. And of course, yours truly that we've been begging to be in this game, as in Lathan Ransom. Actually, look what happens when I've been saying that I know these guys are raw, but they bring the juice, and we need that juice. You know what I mean? We need to suck in that youth. Okay. We need to suck in that youth and just get these rookies on the field, man. Get them going because we look better. Clay, love the live stream Sunday, bro. That was a blast. Justin, anytime, man. I'm always live, brother. I'm always live every Sunday. Shout out to everybody that tuned in on Sunday. I'm trying to make that an every Sunday thing for the Panthers games. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. All right, let's dive into this. Let's dive into it because I got some takeaways from this game I really, really want to dive into. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you guys. As always, appreciate you guys coming through. Make sure you like the live stream as always. All right. Let's talk about this defense. Okay. I want to talk about this defense because they look legit. They look legit. That's for sure. Hold on. Why is this? Let me fix my thing here. Save new layout. There we go. We look legit, ladies and gentlemen. That's for sure. Like, this defense finally looked legit. Like, finally look legit. Like, dead ass. Finally look legit. Look like what we've been waiting for in this game. All right. That was one of the biggest things. This is one of the biggest positives I took away from this, because let's not overthink this. This Panthers defense finally showed the hell up in this game. That changes everything. 2 weeks ago, we looked like it was already halfway to another lost season. Dave Canales had all the makings of yet another new coach, but same old crappy storyline that we were used to, right? And then because the offense was sputtering, the defense was bent and broken, and then we were just it just seemed like the first 2 weeks we were just spiraling out of control, really, before September ends, right? But Sunday happened, and just like that, the mood in Charlotte now has flipped its head, right? We dismantled the Atlanta Falcons in a 30-0 shutout. That's their first shutout since 2020. And again, it wasn't just a win. This was a complete ass kicking. That is the kind of performance that makes me wonder, can this team, right? Can this team turn it around? And it also is making me say we might not be dead in the water after all. All right. Now, it is just one game, but this defense finally looks like a damn NFL defense, guys. It does. It finally looks like an NFL defense. That's the biggest thing I take away from this game right now. And the thing is that I take away from this game is that, at least from the defensive side, it's like the one thing I took away from this defense is that Ejiro Evero finally had this unit. Like, he must have woke this unit up somehow. Like, And he did it when it mattered the most, because there was just complete dominance from that whistle to whistle. Like Atlanta's, Michael Penix was harassed into oblivion. And that was one of my keys to victory for this Panthers defense, was to get pressure on Michael Penix. Because Atlanta fans kept telling me, oh, you can pressure him all you want, but he's still going to make plays. No. I watched this kid at Washington all the way up until he got into the NFL, and he folds like a cheap tent when pressure comes, just like any other quarterback in the NFL does. Because Tom Brady, even when he was getting pressured, he would fold up like a cheap tent too. But we're talking about a guy that they were like, oh, King Penix, he's the next coming of Michael Vick. I don't know. I don't know how you see Michael Vick in Michael Penix. I don't see no similarities whatsoever. Maybe because he throws left-handed. I don't know. But definitely not Michael Penix speed and leg footwork, because we're talking about a guy who's torn both his ACLs and both knees, and he's basically Austin Corbett just in a quarterback. Like, I mean, seriously, this guy, like Penix is not as good as everybody makes it out to be. Okay. Never expected him to be like legitimately. I knew who Michael Penix was when he came out. And everybody was just like, oh, this guy's going to do this and that and the other. And yeah, well, that backfired real quick. And I'll be honest with you guys. I hate to tell Atlanta Falcons fans, but I told you so. I told you so. I told you what he was. And honestly, Atlanta fans, if you guys want to compete in this division, and if any Atlanta fans are watching, you might want to start Kirk Cousins. And I'll explain that. Not in this show, but I got a short coming out tonight that I'm going to explain that why. Because I got a lot of NFL hot takes that I want to get out there today. But again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. I would greatly appreciate it. So here's the thing. So anyways, back to this defense. So Penix goes for 18 of 36 for a measly 172 yards, 2 interceptions. Like, he looked so rattled that the Falcons eventually yanked him for Kirk Cousins to really just stop the bleeding. And it didn't help. Like, the Falcons didn't even cross our 30-yard line, not once. 11 possessions and 0 meaningful drives. Again, that is not just a defense. That is a public humiliation to that team. And here's the thing. We didn't just suffocate them. We punished them. Shaw Smith-Wade had that pick six, turned Bank of America Stadium into a party, while you had Mike Jackson's interception in that third quarter, stomped out any faint pulse that Atlanta still had, and for good measure, to be honest with you, because then you got rookie safety Lathan Ransom forced a late fumble that then Damani Richardson pounces on to put the final nail in the coffin. And if you want perspective, Carolina has 4 interceptions through 3 games. They had 9 all last season. That is not just a trend, ladies and gentlemen. That's a revolution. Am I overreacting? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments, but it seems like maybe the stars are aligning. Maybe this is what needed to happen. Maybe this is what we've been. I mean, obviously this is what we've been waiting for, but are the stars aligning? Are we really starting to turn the corner here? Because again, this wasn't just a scheme. Like, our best players played like they're our best players. Derek Brown returning to anchor the defensive line as a completely shift the tone up front. Right? He clogs run lanes. He collapsed pockets. He makes everyone else's jobs easier. And then you got J.C. Horn, who is quickly making the leap from talented, but everybody goes, from talented but inconsistent to, which obviously the inconsistency was due to injuries, but when he's healthy, consistency is there. Okay. But then you go from that to like, holy shit, this guy is erasing receivers. Well, when you put him on the best guy on the field, like I said, when you rotate the corners, when you rotate JC Horn to the right, to the best wide receiver on the field, that's what happens. Because he looks like a legit shutdown corner. He is on the verge to have another Pro Bowl. And then you got the rookies who are feeding off this energy. I'm telling you, bringing the juice with their raw power and talent, like Scorton and Mommy Yellen, Ransom. These kids don't look overwhelmed; they look dangerous, right? For a defense that gave up the most points in the NFL last season, this is the turnaround that feels almost borderline like miraculous to me. To be honest with you guys, miraculous. To be honest with you guys, it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane that we're seeing this right now. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you because I didn't expect this. I don't think anybody expected this. You couldn't tell me that you were like, yeah, I could see this happening. You couldn't tell me. I didn't see it happening because I picked against them. I said, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I said that in my breakdown last week when we did the preview and the prediction, right? And I told you guys, I said, prove me wrong. Right? That's what I said. I said, prove me wrong. I said that until proven otherwise, I'm not picking this team. Because 2 weeks in a row, we just saw, Bryce Young give the team 10 points back to back, 5-6 turnovers in the first 2 weeks, right? It's not ideal, which I'm going to get to his performance here shortly. But this defense, man, it's funny how when I said that complimentary football makes life easier, and that's what we saw from this defense. It's a beautiful thing. When this defense sets the tone, everything else clicks. Now, Bryce Young didn't have to play hero. The run game was finding holes. Special teams, pinned Atlanta deep. For once, every unit did their job, and it made the whole thing look easy. That's how you win in the NFL. You don't ask your quarterback to carry a broken roster on his back. You build a team that lifts him up. Sunday was the first glimpse of what maybe Dave Canales was finally in a rhythm, which I'm going to dive more into him. But I'll say this. I will say this. I don't think one game, because I want to be a little bit humble about this win. I don't think one game, ladies and gentlemen, changes the fact of what the past was, right? But it does change the future, right? Because I do want to pump the brakes a little bit. I'm happy for the win, right? But before we crown, Evero's defense as the 85 Bears or whatever, this was a dominant game against a division rival that they look completely lost in. One game does not erase the disaster of, last year and the year before that. Right. One game doesn't mean this is sustainable, but here what it does mean is that the standard is set. We've seen what this team is capable of doing when it plays fast, it plays aggressive, it plays disciplined football. And again, anything less than this kind of effort moving forward, it does feel like a letdown, right? The schedule isn't as brutal right now. You got New England up next. They sure as hell aren't world beaters right now. If we can string together another defensive showcase and suddenly we're back to 500 with momentum on our side, right? That's what we need to try to do here, right? Now, could we be seeing Evero's redemption arc here maybe? Coming into 2025, Evero's was under a ton of heat. Last year's defense was historically bad. Plenty of people and myself and you guys were wondering if he was just another overhyped coordinator. But you string together a few more games like Sunday, and then you suddenly think, maybe he's back into the head coach conversations because, again, if he can turn this defense around and he gets it, up there, he's probably going to be looking to take a head coaching job because that's what he wants. But that's how fast things swing in this league, right? Now, for now, let's call it what it is. This defense finally played like a group with some pride. And I'm going to say this too, like in a season that looked like it was circling the drain. Because it looked like we were a penny circling that drain, and before it even started. But that's the biggest damn positive of all was that performance this past Sunday. All right. What up, T Thompson? Appreciate you joining the live stream. Guys, make sure you do me a favor. There's 11 people watching, 6 people on Twitter. Got a small crowd tonight. But make sure you like the live stream, share it out. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's move on. Bryce Young's performance. Let's dive into it. Now, I'm going to say this. Bryce Young's performance, I'm going to first off say this. He needed this badly. Like after 2 weeks, the turnover cycle we were having, first 2 weeks, you entered the week 3. There was a lot of weight on this team. It wasn't just Bryce Young, but there was a good amount because probably most of Charlotte was on his shoulders. And the near comeback in Arizona last week, that's what we wanted to see the first 2 weeks, right? We wanted to see that Bryce. That was the Bryce that we saw the last 8 to 10 weeks, right? But it came at the worst time. And it was, a little bit too late, right? But his early blunders were one of the reasons why we were at 0-2. All right. We have to call it what it is, right? This season isn't about more victories anymore, guys. It's about proving once and for all whether you're the long-term guy or you're just another name in this franchise long line of almost guys, right? But on Sunday, Bryce Young didn't just steady the ship. He finally looked like a quarterback who knew how to steer it, which is what I've just been wanting him to do, right? Take care of the football, be efficient with it, right? Go through your progressions, right? Make the smart choices. Take what the defense is giving you. Throw on platform. Nice footwork. Not being back there like you look like you have ants in your pants. Like, and you saw the pressure coming, just take the sack. Don't throw a duck up in the air, or don't fumble the ball, right? That just manage the game. Be a game manager, right? I don't need you to be a hero every single play because, I just feel like every time Bryce steps back in the pocket, he feels like every throw needs to be a hero ball, and it doesn't. But again, that's all I needed him to be. And because I don't need him to be flashy. I just want him to be efficient. I want him to be composed. I want him to just be mistake-free. And this game was definitely a hell of a start on that. Now, I know that the stats weren't the best. But here's the thing. I've been saying it for the longest time. His mobility is what I've been asking him to use. I think it's a weapon. I think it's a real weapon. He's not going to be Cam Newton, okay? He's not built like a tank. He's not dragging 3 defenders in the end zone. But if you keep pretending that this guy can't run, again, he's going to embarrass you. I think I've been saying it. I think his mobility is one of the most underrated parts of his game. He's quick enough to escape. He's smart enough to not take unnecessary shots, except what we saw in Jacksonville, right? Because he should have just slid on that play. Again, him going head first still blows my mind. But he's also, when he does run efficiently, he's creative enough to punish defenses especially when they overcommit, right? And early in the game, he proved it by scrambling into the end zone for that first touchdown It was a statement play to set the tone for the whole afternoon. And he's still a pocket passer first, but he improved. The improvisation was obvious. But when things broke down, he didn't panic, which is what else I've been asking him to do. He either found his outlet or he tucked it and went, right? This isn't the 2015 new Cam Newton style highlight reel stuff. But it's exactly the kind of subtle edge that keeps defenses honest with the way he uses his legs. Another thing that I took away from his performance. What up, Doug? Tom Brady. We got to beat up the Panthers again to get on track. Tom Brady coming in. Tom Brady's always over there at the NFC South roundtable, man. He's always talking shit. But he's the man. What up, Doug? Another thing I took away from Bryce Young was he didn't the ball security, finally didn't kill him. Let's call it what it is. Bryce Young's turnovers have been the problem. It's been a big problem. Week 1 and week 2, he looked to me like a guy who was trying to make up everything in one play, and it burned him hard, to be honest with you. But then against Atlanta, he tightened it up. Again, no turnovers, no panic throws into double coverage, unnecessary fumbles. It was just clean football, right? And he managed the game well. That's all you need him to do. The offensive line definitely deserves some credit here because, having Cade Mays come in for Corbett, which I wasn't, y'all know how I felt about Corbett. I thought that Cade Mays was better and he deserved to be the starter over Corbett, in my opinion, because of what we saw last year. He's younger, right? And he's fresher and has better chemistry with Bryce Young. And he seems like he has better chemistry with the whole offensive line than Corbett did, right? But the biggest one was Chandler Zavala stepping in. Chandler Zavala did his thing, man. Right? I got to give kudos to the kid. I didn't think he was ready. Right? But but Bryce Young had time. Young still deserves praise for not forcing the issue, right? He managed the game like the pro, knowing his offensive line was, out with some guys, right? But he managed the game. And sometimes that's the most important thing. They'll lighten up lighten up the scoreboard. And we have been our own worst enemy this whole season so far, right? But this time, I'll say that Young made sure he wasn't adding to the chaos. And that's the biggest thing I can take away from this was that. But I'm going to also harp on some other things with him. The poise was back, right? When Carolina drafted Young, one of his selling points was his poise, right? At Alabama, he was cool under pressure, right? He wasn't unshaken by the moment. But the NFL isn't Tuscaloosa, right? Over the past 2 seasons, the poise has wavered. Not Sunday though. He was cool, calm, and collective, right? From pre-snap reads to pocket presence, his communication with Cade Mays was sharp. His rhythm matched Dave Canales' game plan perfectly. He wasn't jittery. He wasn't rushing. He was in control of the game. You could even see in his body language, he was standing taller, moving with the confidence that we've been wanting to see. He actually looked like the guy his teammates want to rally around him. Give him a lead and a little balance, and suddenly he doesn't look like a kid trying to prove he belongs, right? He looks like a quarterback that's leading his damn team in this game. And again, this is all I've been asking him to do, was just take care of the football, manage the game, be efficient, don't play hero ball, and, because every time I feel like he tries to play hero ball, that's when the mistakes happen. Just take what the defense is giving you and make it happen, right? This is the part, though, for me with him, though, that I think we saw in this game. I felt like Canales made his job easier in this game the way the play calling was. And I'm going to dive more into Dave Canales' play calling because I think this is where the part has been missing the most. Again, I go back to the thing like I was talking about the defense, complementary football, guys. Complementary footballs, right? Like through the first 2 weeks, Young was asked, I felt like, again, I wouldn't say, I don't know. It felt like he was asked to do too much at times because the defense of the run game wasn't there. But again, Bryce Young also caused that upon himself. But against the Falcons, again, it's just crazy how the script flipped there. Like, because our defense was dominating, the run game actually was alive. The special teams were doing their job. It was just, again, everybody was doing their job. It was complimentary football. And I think for once, Young wasn't dragging this team behind him, right? The team was helping him out, which meant that they didn't have to play hero ball. And I just felt like he could be the smart, creative game manager he's built to be. And he executed beautifully, in my opinion. And this wasn't Young single-handedly, winning a game. This was Young fitting perfectly into a well-rounded performance. That's how you win football, right? That's how you win football games. That's how winning football looks like. That's how winning football looks like. Well, I mean, Doug, the reason why I say hero ball is because I feel like he tries to do too much. Really, like that's why I would consider hero ball, like trying to win the game one pass at a time. That's what I mean by that. I think he just tries to do too much. And I would still consider that hero ball because I feel like every pass he feels like he's got to win the game with that one pass. I'm serious. That's just me. But he just tries to do too much. But again, in this game, it was like he was more comfortable. It was stress-free afternoon. Like, again, Bryce Young didn't throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. Hell, he didn't need to throw a touchdown. He just needed to avoid really screwing it up. I'll be honest with you. Like, he did exactly that. I mean, you go look at the stat line. It's 121 passing yards, a rushing touchdowns, no turnover. It isn't going to blow up anyone's fantasy league, okay? But the bigger picture here for me is that he looked comfortable. He kept the offense on schedule. He managed the game, right? He didn't put us in an early hole. He played smart. He played efficient football from first quarter to the end of the game, right? And again, this is about a quarterback who's been criticized relentlessly. This was the performance that he needed, I feel like. I think for a team that desperately needed a win, this was exactly the kind of game at the right time, right? Again, this wasn't a Bryce Young breakout game. It wasn't the kind of performance that's going to make highlight reels or silence every critic out there, but it's a step in the right direction. That's what I'm getting at. He protected the football, he used his mobility, he stayed poised, he let the rest of the team do their jobs, and he did his. That's winning football, right? If this is the version of Bryce Young that the Panthers get more often, we've got something to build on, right? If he slips back into that turnover prone, deer in the headlights mode, that's when those conversations about his future here is going to start coming back, right? For now, I'm going to give him his flowers because I always give credit where credit's due. But Bryce Young finally looked like a quarterback worth believing in this game. And for once, he didn't look like a team actively, trying to set the football back, 20 years. Like it was complimentary football again. The dirty 30, Mr. Clean. What's good? The dirty 30. All right, let's move on. Rookies stepping up. I think I spelled stepping there wrong. Did I spell stepping wrong? Is it 1P or 2P? Oh no, I spelled it right. I think I'm just retarded. All right, let's talk about these rookies, man. McMillan. He may have dropped a few in this game. I'm just going to go blatantly come out and say it. He's clearly the number one target. He led the team in receiver yards again, 44 yards on 3 catches. He's carving out his role as the future wide receiver one. And I'm just going to be honest with you, man. He looks like a top 15 wide receiver right now. He's leading all rookies in receiving yards right now. He continues to show flashes of that ridiculous catch radius and the yak ability. Right. But I mean, his route running is just so crisp still, man. I mean, it's just so crisp. The hip movement, the footwork, the way he comes out of his breaks, the way he comes off the line. And honestly, I've seen him be more physical than I saw him be in Arizona. Like, he's really, really getting more physical with these corners that try to man press him up. And he wasn't doing that as much as I saw at Arizona, right? That was one of the things that I felt like he needed to get better at, right? And he's doing it now. And he's doing everything you could ask for him. He's a legit playmaker. And when your rookie wideout is clearly your best receiver option in 3 weeks, it's not a bad problem to have, to be honest with you. So to me, McMillan is doing, he's doing as advertised. Meanwhile, on the other side, rookies like Nick Score and Prince Mamiel, they're finally got some extended snap. That I felt like their impact was immediate. I felt like the pass rush looked faster. I thought they looked more aggressive. Definitely more disruptive with them in the mix. Again, I've been saying it, let these young guys go. I'm saying suck in that youth. I'm all about the youth movement. We were all about the youth movement all off season. Let's keep the youth movement going. At this point, they've looked better with the rookies on the field. Lathan Ransom, forced the fumble the final minute, which was the exclamation point on that win. This rookie class is starting to matter, man. And in Princely Mamiel and Nick Scorton, man, get these guys more burn. Just keep that rotation of those guys coming through. Well, that's good. SC Panthers Boy 803. Appreciate you guys joining the live stream. Do me a favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. On your way in or on your way out, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about that offensive line. The offensive line didn't implode. It didn't. I wasn't worried about K Mays. I've said it from the beginning. I thought K Mays was should have been starting from the beginning. I've always thought that Corbett should have been rotating due to his injuries and his chemistry, because again, we saw why Corbett should have been starting anyway, because he hasn't had chemistry not only with Bryce Young, but he hasn't built enough chemistry with this offensive line, because guess what? He's always injured. And he should have been he should have been the backup to Cade Mays from the beginning. And Cade Mays has better chemistry with Bryce Young. The offensive line looked a lot better with Cade Mays, because I think Cade Mays has better chemistry with that offensive line. And when your center is not having the best chemistry, not only with your offensive line, but your quarterback, really a lot of things fall apart, because he's supposed to be your rock, right? He's supposed to be one of the leaders on that offense, in my opinion, right? He's the foundation. And when your foundation ain't there, everything else implodes. But I got to give kudos to Chandler Zavala. I still think that I didn't think he was ready. I didn't think he was he was ready to fill that role. I thought that him going there for Robert Hunt was going to go south fast. He proved me wrong. The line mostly held its ground the whole time. They gave up a red zone sack that killed a drive, but for the most part, they kept Young clean. They opened lanes for the running backs. Considering who they were missing in this game, as in Robert Hunt, that's a big damn deal, to be honest with you. Great win yesterday. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the thing. I just thought that this offensive line was going – I didn't think it was going to implode, but I did have my thoughts because of Chandler Zavala. I just didn't think he was ready due to his injuries, but also his play time. And then plus his performances have lacked, right? But in this game, it was a lot. I mean, they still did their thing. So I got to give a shout out to the offensive line, man. All right, let's move on. Canales finds rhythm. I got to give Dave Canales. He looked like in this game, I felt like the play calling was so much better. Again, I was asking for more aggressiveness, more creativity, right? And don't second guess. And I kept saying, don't second guess yourself, because I feel like Dave Canales a lot of times second guesses himself because the first 2 weeks were rough. We saw a lot. I felt like we saw a lot of vanilla, predictable, and borderline painful playing calling to watch. But against Atlanta, I felt like Canales opened up the playbook a little bit more, right? We looked more prepared. Again, I saw the creativity. There was more balance. So even when Canales, even when the plays didn't work, and some of the Canales' plays that didn't work, at least they looked like they had a purpose, right? And that's the progress that I want to also see. Like, have a purpose with your play calling, right? Again, was it perfect? No, but it was for the first time all season that they looked like they weren't winging it, right? So going forward, I hope that he continues to keep that aggressive, creative play calling. He continues to open up the playbook for this team because, again, I think with the more aggressive and creativeness, all right, I think this team looks more prepared and more balanced when you open up that playbook, and it showed more. But it also helps when your quarterback, again, isn't turning over the ball in the first quarter, right? And giving up 10 points. So that also is beneficial. Special teams. Silent but deadly. I felt like they quietly dominated, right? I'm going to give them the credit where credit's due. Tracy Smith's special teams unit kicked the Falcons while they were already face down in the dirt. No pun intended there. The kick coverage was outstanding. You holding Atlanta to 11.6 yards per punt return, punts, 2 returns, 0 yards. That was on 2 punts that we had. They had 2 returns and 0 yards. Ryan Fitzgerald also drilled 3 field goals in this game, 57, 35, and 41. And kickoffs, we were pinning the Atlanta deep. And even with, Trevor Etienne coughing up a muff punt swiftly, which I am thankful for what Canales and that coaching staff did, which was replace him, right? Take him out, put in David Moore. The unit still swung the field position all afternoon, which is huge, right? A lot of people don't give the special teams the credit that is due, but when field position matters, right? Field position matters, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you this right now. We dominated in this game with the special teams. So I got to give the special teams credit where credit's due. Earl Locklear, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming through. Overall, man, again, this wasn't just a win. Again, I feel like this was a statement. The Panthers didn't scrape by. They dominated. They reminded themselves, the rest of the league, that they can punch back to, right? Atlanta, they were completely a no-show. You don't get shut out in the NFL unless you're fundamentally broken. They look soft, uninspired, unprepared. I put that on Raheem Morris. I've been saying that the Atlanta fans cannot trust him as a head coach. I don't think he's a good head coach. He's probably just better as a coordinator, right? I mean, just some guys aren't cut out for it, right? I mean, guys over at the NFC South Roundtable, especially James, the Bucks guy, knows all too well about Raheem Morris. And James keeps telling Berto, the Atlanta Falcons content creator over there on the NFC South Roundtable, Raheem Morris is going to be Raheem Morris, and he's going to do Raheem Morris things. And you're going to be wondering, is this guy our head coach? And James has been so far right. But I've been saying the same thing. Michael Penix, which everybody keeps thinking that he was going to be the next big thing. But I think if Atlanta wants to be competitive, you got to let Kirk Cousins go in. If you want to win now, you got to put Kirk Cousins in, because Michael Penix isn't going to get you there. I'm sorry. But I'm going to say this. On the other hand, for us, we should be feeling damn good heading into some favorable stretch here. We got New England, you got Miami, you got Dallas, you got the Jets. If they can ride this momentum, swag 2 or 3 of those games, they'll be in decent shape heading into that brutal midseason run against Buffalo, Green Bay through there. But for now, one thing is clear. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. One game at a time at this point. We finally look like a team worth watching. And the Falcons, well, they're still trying to find Carolina's 30-yard line because they couldn't find that. That's all I got to say about the Falcons. Clay, you can talk shit this week on the roundtable. Oh, I'm gonna lay it out there, man. I'm gonna lay it out there. All right, I'm gonna give you my winners, my losers of this week's game. Of course, my winners and losers. You got my winners. I'm gonna give Bryce Young, Tre'von McMillan, Chuba Hubbard. I'm gonna give Ejiro Evero a winner this week, and I'm also gonna give Ryan Fitzgerald a winner as well. For Bryce Young, again, no, the box score isn't going to scream you MVP again. He didn't put up video game numbers, but what he did was play clean, smart, composed football, something he hasn't managed in week 1 or week 2. Okay. 60-24, 121 yards, at a rushing touchdown. His team's first touchdown of the day as well. He looked comfortable, again, in control, full in sync with Tre'von McMillan. After coughing up the ball early and often last week, posted a 0 turnover in this game. That alone makes him a winner this week. No flashy, not heroic, just good quarterbacking, which for Young, we're still trying to, for Young and this team and this offense, so we're still trying to figure ourselves out. And this is exactly what the hell we needed, right? This is exactly what the hell we needed in this game, right? Tre'von McMillan, he's already submitted as Bryce Young's number 1 wide receiver. This team's number 1 wide receiver. 3 catches, 48 yards, led the team in receiving for the 3rd straight game. Continues to flash ridiculous catch radius and yards after the catch ability again. Again, he did leave some stuff on the field. I felt like there were some drops on makeable plays. There were some struggles at the top of his routes, but again, man, that's just stuff he can iron out. It's rookie stuff, right? Again, he still looks like right now, he still, I think, is a top 15 wide receiver because the catch radius, the way he gets out on off the line, how much more physical I feel like he is being when they're pressing him. His routes are it's still crisp, the hip and the foot movement. He is just doing everything right there. Again, he's not going to be perfect, right? But he looks like what he was advertised coming out of Arizona. He's a problem for defenses. He's a legit playmaker. Like when your rookie wideout is clearly your best receiver option in 3 weeks, that's not a bad problem to have. Again, it's not a bad problem to have at all. All right, another one, Chuba Hubbard. Through 2 weeks, Hubbard looked like he was running into quicksand. Okay, against Atlanta, he finally woke up. He's in his 4th year. Had 73 yards on 73 carries, which means he averaged 4.3 yards per carry. He paced the offense when they needed balance. He wasn't spectacular, but he was steady, efficient. And on a day when Young Didn't need to air it out. Hubbard's reliability kept the chains moving. And I got to also, maybe I didn't put him on here. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Rico Dowdle. But I have to give credit to the coaching staff and Dave Canales I feel like they were actually using him right in this game, especially in the past game and on some key run plays as well. I just felt like the efficiency with the running back room in this game was very well between Rico and Chuba Hubbard. Now, another one, I'm going to give Ejiro Evero, but I'm also going to mention basically the whole defense or winner for me, right? I mean, we just made the Falcons look pathetic, right? I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due, though. Evero cooked up a game plan that turned Michael Penix into a deer of the headlights, man. We forced 5 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 on downs, and a late fumble recovery. And Shaw Smith-Wade, again, one of my breakout candidates, add that exclamation point with that pick 6, while the defensive front kept Penix under constant duress, and Atlanta never made it past Carolina's 30-yard line. Never made it past the Carolina's 30-yard line. 11 possessions, 0 legitimate scoring opportunities. Bijan Robinson was bottled up for 72 rushing yards. The Falcons eventually benched their quarterback out of sheer desperation. And after giving up the most points in the single season in NFL's history last year, this defense has finally set a new standard. And it's about damn time, right? Last but not least, we give Ryan Fitzgerald a winner of this week as well. Replacing Eddie Pinheiro with an undrafted rookie looked like a gamble, and it turns out the Panthers might have struck gold because Ryan Fitzgerald hasn't missed all season. And on Sunday, he drilled a 57-yarder to put an exclamation point on his growing reputation as a legitimate weapon. And in a league where bad kickers lose games, and we saw that with Atlanta against, Tampa Bay, Younghoe Koo missing the game-winning field goal. They brought in that Parker. Is it Parker Romo or whatever his name is, who ended up missing like 3 field goals against us? 2 or 3. Again, we just might have stumbled upon into a keeper on that in that kicking room. That's one thing for sure. That's one thing for sure. All right, I do have some losers this week. That was the only picture I could find of Trevor Etienne. I couldn't find one of Christian Roseboom, so I had to rock this one. Let's talk about Christian Roseboom, man. I told y'all. Christian Roseboom was a fringe starter at best. He was a rotational linebacker at the Rams. Not everything was perfect, but Roseboom is a glaring weak spot on this defense. He continues to miss tackles in space. He looks like a liability in the middle. Obviously, Josie Jewell is gone due to the concussion symptoms that he was having. Of course, they opened up the door for him to come back. But then you also have, Shaq Thompson's not here anymore. Again, you didn't. Again, this is where I get pissed off at the front office and Dan Morgan and them, that they didn't have a contingency plan for either one of them. And then you're sitting out there with Roseboom and Trevon Wallace, who's a second-year player. And then you have Roseboom, who was a fringe starter at best, now is tasked with more responsibility and has not delivered. If we don't find a better stopgap or a solution at inside linebacker, teams will eventually pick on him until it breaks this defense's rhythm. And again, we've got room. We've got the cap space to go get a linebacker. We got teams that need they have positions of need that maybe we could afford to let go of. I mean, think that a smart move for Carolina. I know Pat Jones was out in this game. I think Pat Jones has been dealing with some injuries. I got to go back and look at the injury report. I think Pat Jones was out this game. Was he not? Was it Pat Jones? I got to go back and look at the injury report. But can we maybe look at maybe trading DJ Wanum to find an inside linebacker? Somebody who's at least solid, right? Like someone who would grade out as a C. Someone who's just solid, who's just going to make tackles. He's not going to miss tackles. He's not going to be a liability. Just someone who's just solid, right? Who's going to fill his gaps, right? Who's going to, who's not going to miss tackles in space. Who's not going to look like a liability. Just somebody who's solid. I'm not asking for much. And now I don't know if there's anyone out there. But again, maybe we look to make a trade. I don't know. Hey, Roppstar, great win. Felt like I walked into a time machine. Went back 2015. It's funny how the Panthers beat the Falcons 38-0 at home in 2015. 10 years later, 30-0, another shutout 10 years later. That's interesting. Disagree with that, Clay. We need to keep all edge rushers. Okay. We should trade XL, in my opinion. That could be a move. Trade XL for linebacker. I mean, we got to get Christian Roseboom again is a glaring weak spot on this defense. Like I said, he missed his tackle in space and he looks like a liability when he up the middle. And there's got to be that we have the cap space to go find someone else. Let's go do that. Let's go do that. Okay. Seriously, please. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to give Trevor Etienne a loser this week because special teams were mostly solid, right? I think the kick coverage was sharp. Punts kept Atlanta pinned deep. The punt return duties remained a disaster. I mean, Trevor Etienne muffed his first and only return attempt, handing Atlanta a free chance. They didn't capitalize on him. He was quickly replaced by David Moore, which I totally agree with the coaching staff. And really, David Moore's real skill set back there seems to be catch it and fall down. Fine by me. At least we're not fumbling it. But Trevor Etienne hasn't made an impact on offense either. I think if Carolina wants a spark in the return game, I think they need to give Jimmy Horn Jr. a shot. Because right now the bar is, there's really not one. Why not put Jimmy Horn Jr. back there? Right? Why not put Jimmy Horn Jr. back there? That's all I'm saying. So those are my losers. Those are my takeaways for the game. Again, I'm going to say this. Again, the bottom line for this game is, again, we didn't just win the game. We dominated. They played a division rival that looked like a college team playing in the wrong damn league. That's what they look like. And we did it by doing something we haven't pulled off in 5 years, pitching a shutout. Atlanta, they looked lost and soft and uninspired. You don't score 0 points in the NFL in an NFL game by accident. You earn it through sheer incompetence. You never got to our 30-yard line. Meanwhile, here in Carolina, it gave us fans a reason to cheer. It wasn't perfect, but again, it was ruthless. And after the first 2 weeks of frustration, ruthless feels pretty damn good. But again, like I said, one game at a time here. One game at a time. Because, again, we should feel good about this, especially heading into a favorable stretch. Again, you got New England, you got Miami, you got Dallas, you got the Jets coming up, right? New England's 1-2, I think. Miami's 0-3. Dallas is 1-2. The Jets are 0-3. Again, if you can win 2 or 3 of those games, can ride that momentum, heading in, it has some decent shape heading into the midseason when you start going up against like Buffalo and Green Bay, you can put yourself in good position. But we've got to see this type of football right here. This is the type of football we have to see, that complementary football. So, again, it was a great game, but one game at a time. Of course, I'm happy about the win, but I'm not going to get I'm going to be humble about it. Be humble about it. Yes. We took belt to ass to those Falcons. But again, I'm going to be humble about it and say, let's get one game at a time. Let's see them do this again next week, heading into Foxborough against New England, right? We play this type of complementary football on both sides of the ball that we saw against this week against Atlanta. Again, I'm going to stay humble, one game at a time. One game at a time. Again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. We've been live for over an hour. Again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on new content. We are going to do, I owe you, after this Sunday, since I owe y'all 3 giveaways. I already have a hat giveaway, so we'll probably spin the wheel sometime this week for the other 2 giveaways. All right. So again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I will see you guys tomorrow on the NFC South Roundtable. Be there, 8 p.m. EST. And come on, let's go talk our shit over there because we're allowed to this week. We are allowed to. We should be able to. So make sure you guys tune in. Brought to you by Roundtable Sports. Make sure you go like and subscribe to them on YouTube. And then, of course, go and like and subscribe to the NFC South Roundtable, brought to you by Roundtable Sports. All right. Other than that, guys, God bless. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. And as always, y'all know what to do. I'm out of here. Keep pounding. Peace.